Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Talk of the Crown. I hope you've all had an amazing, voluptuous week. I know I have. It has been an amazingly busy, very voluptuous royal week with the Commonwealth heads of government meeting and much more going on, but mainly the Commonwealth heads of government meeting, which we will talk about in great detail and at great length, I'm sure, and everything what's happened during it. And there's some big news on that, which we'll get to later. But first of all, as always, I want to go to the chat room and say hello to everybody. Now, if you are new and this is the first live chat, Royal Reviewer live chat, Talk of the Crown that you have attended, then the format is really simple. Just say hello. We are a really friendly community. We meet every single week live at 10 o'clock British time, that's GMT, every Saturday. And we just talk about the royal family, and it's very much led by you guys. I always make a few notes about what's happened in the week, mainly based on the videos that I make for YouTube and for you guys, but it really is led by you. It's what you want to talk about, so don't feel afraid to ask a question. I really don't mind, or even if you just want to say hello. We do usually have a resident moderator in the room, so make sure you behave. And the one basic rule for everyone is that you're just kind to one another. If you're watching this on catch up, you can see the conversations that are going on. That function is now available, so you can keep up, and it can almost feel like you are live yourself. So let's go straight to see who's in the room. And usually there's conversation that goes on before I even get here, so I'm going to skip some of that. I'm sorry. If you have already typed a question, then please type it again if I miss it. So hello to David Soriano and Tess and Kimberly and Bay and Janet Fox and Donna Snyder and the first Mrs. R. I can see all of you were in there very early, and James Med4 and Jeff and Deborah Fraser and Joyce and H.A. Bracken and Marilyn and Nina and Christine. Everyone's here today. I don't think I've missed anyone yet. No Parut is also here, and Ken and Dandy and Jerry and Melody and Jamie, our moderator, is here. Oh dear says, Elliot looking dapper as usual. Well, thank you so much. And James Midfall says, hello, Elliot. Prince of Wales as the future head of the Commonwealth. The best present for the Queen since it has been her life's work. Yes, and we will talk more about that later. I'm not skipping over it. We will definitely talk to it. Candice says, I look wonderful and dapper. Thank you so much. I definitely wanted to celebrate the Queen's birthday, so I have the Union Jack in the background. I have my Union Jack bow tie. We also have Meghan and Harry, who have also decided to join us. And yes, Marilyn says, everyone, please remember to give this video a big old thumbs up. It does indeed help. Marilyn says, I look fab. Thank you so much. And Nazarama, I think I've said that correct, says, you're indeed a diehard royal fan. I am indeed. Kimberly says, hello, Elliot. Handsome attire today. Thank you. And Alex Hill is in San Francisco. Liz Ross loves the decor. Okay, by the way, the reason why I was just a few minutes late is because I've only just finished watching the Queen's birthday party, which was aired, and it took place in the Royal Albert Hall, and pretty much all of the members of the royal family were there, including lots of the extended royal family. Meghan was there. I did put a really quick video, which I filmed from the television, which I did put up. And that showed lots of the balcony scenes, but I've just finished, just before I came on air, uploading an all royal moment. So it doesn't show the whole show, so don't go expecting the whole show, but it does show lots of the royal moments from the show. So lots of what went on in the box. Prince Harry's speech to the Queen. Prince Harry got up and made a speech, which was amazing. And then Prince Charles at the end with the Queen, they got on stage, they left the royal box, and the Prince of Wales made an amazing speech for his mother, and his mother waved and the crowd cheered. And I captured all that on my phone, and I've just uploaded it, which is why I was a tad late, only a few minutes, because obviously I have to set up my set, and I just posted that video. So after this, please go and check that out. David Soriano says, where is my boyfriend? He's at work. He's working. He works nights. Lady Buckingham, Dawn says, hi everyone, here for only a few minutes. Well, hello. And Dawn likes my hair. Nizarama says, I watched it too. Nina says, I love your brooch. Christine says, R.I.P. Who's died? Do let me know. Dawn says, wish they would show all these shows about the Queen here in Canada. After all, she is our Queen too. Well, I'm not sure if it was streamed anywhere. It was filmed by the BBC and shown on the BBC. So maybe you will have access to it, to the full show. Maybe the BBC might put it on YouTube, or it might be on the iPlayer. I don't know if you have access to that where you are, but I'm sure there will also be clips of it everywhere. But certainly watch the 2 videos that I put out to get a sense of all of the royal moments that are there. I didn't film all of the performances or anything like that. But there was a really rousing rendition of Happy Birthday, which I thought was lovely, and God Save the Queen. OAM Faney says, hello all. Wow, this is the first time I've been able to get on. 5:08 in South Florida. Wow. Well, it's actually 10:10 in the evening for me. Sue Miller says, thank you, Royal Reviewer, for the best. No, thank you for watching. And like I say, it really has been a really busy week this week. I have been back to work. I do have a full-time job, for those of you who don't know. So I was back to work this week after 2 weeks off for my Easter holidays, and the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting happened. And wow, all of the royals were out in force. I mean, the term working royal was never truer spoken, because pretty much all of the members of the royal family chipped in and helped. They were meeting foreign prime ministers and diplomats, and hosting events and attending events. It really was a hard week, actually, to keep up with, to keep on top of everything, which is why I did quite a few kind of compilation videos and update videos of all the things that went on throughout the day. And it was the only way, physically, that I could actually catch up with all what was going on, because so much went on. And I have to say that I'm not sounding biased or anything like that, but I do think that Britain hosted the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting exceptionally well this year. And I really enjoyed the use of Buckingham Palace in the meeting. And I really enjoyed the use of Windsor as well. And of course, the Queen expressed her wish for the first time. She addressed her own mortality and the end of her reign, in that she profoundly wished that her son and heir, Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, would take over from her as head of the Commonwealth, because of course that role is not hereditary. Of course, Prince Charles will take over as monarch when his mother passes on, but it's not automatic that he would take on the head of the Commonwealth role. But the Commonwealth listened to the Queen. I think it was a very, very strong hint from the Queen, if not already that the Queen knew that this was going to happen. But the meeting happened a day later on the Friday, and all of the heads of government agreed, or they agreed collectively, that Prince Charles would take over and would succeed his mother as head of the Commonwealth once she passes on, which I thought was a really amazing early birthday present for the Queen. And I spoke about that in my happy birthday video to the Queen this morning, and it was very sunny here in the UK. Oh, Barbara Bush, of course. Rest in peace, Barbara Bush. Catherine Teresa says, hello, I'm from America, but I have a question about how intense or not the UK media is in terms of the coming wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Well, in the UK, we're pretty much blasé about things. We like to not get excited. We like to pretend, in a way, that we're not excited, that we don't care, that we don't bother. I mean, there is, obviously ramping up in terms of the media. But usually with these big set piece events, everyone kind of feigns interest. And then at the very, very last minute, everyone gets extremely excited and everyone watches, everybody wants to attend, and everyone gets incredibly excited. It's just the British way of doing things. We like to be quite subdued and then go, ah, just completely over the top. So, yes, there is a ramping up in the media about talk of the wedding. Some people like myself are just interested in it anyway. But I can guarantee there will be a surge just as it's about to happen. And then it'll be everywhere. I mean, and also the days after as well. It'll be wedding, 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 wedding. But Harry and Meghan have been quite clever in the fact that they very much drip fed little bits of information over the past weeks. They drip fed who the florist was. They drip fed, you know, who the cake designer was, what the security protocols are going to be, some of the guests and some of the guests attending. Little bits of information have been leaked, I think, to probably try and quell a little bit of people trying to dig into things. And I think that's largely worked. But yes, it's not the British way to get terribly excited early on. It's the British way to kind of feign interest and then just go crazy. I hope that makes sense. Joy says, had to leave and come back to see you. Well, hello. Welcome back. And yes, Charles said money. And the Queen smiled as if to say, oh, not again. He called me that before, not again. So the look on her face was amazing. And I captured that. That is in the second video that I uploaded tonight. So do go and check out that moment because it was priceless. It really was. Liz Ross says, your subscribers are increasing at a very good rate. They are indeed. In fact, I'm nearly at 30,000 subscribers. In fact, I was hoping that I would possibly hit 30,000 tonight, ready for the show. So I'm just going to check on my phone now. I am at 29,975 currently. So who knows? Maybe in the next hour or so when I'm live, maybe I will hit 30,000. Can someone keep checking for me? That would be really good. And if I do hit 30 in the show, please tell me. Let me see. Going up. Okay. I've missed a few comments, but I'm going to try and skip up and see if I can see them. Yes, I did see the concert. Jamie says, feeling sad today, watched Barbara Bush's funeral. To be honest, I haven't seen it because I've been so busy covering all the royal news. But yes, a very, very sad occasion. I think I saw a small clip of the coffin. And yes, please give the video a thumbs up. Liz Ross loves the decor. Linda says, like how you've set up your area today, it looks like a real television background. Thank you. It's a flag. It's a flag. I have used it before in previous videos, but I thought I'd bring it out today as a special occasion for the Queen's birthday. Dawn says, like your hair like that. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if you can see all of it. Maybe if I give you a little spin, you can see my hair. Lots of people watched it too. Nina loves my brooch. And I've got on my family order box bro by Dawn. Thank you so much, Dawn, for sending it in. I say thank you every week. I've got my Queen on, and I've got Queen Victoria's double bow brooch here. Vinny Blair says, liked your video of the balcony moments. Yes, Meghan was there. She was sat by Harry, kind of in the corner, but Harry was kind of in the corner too. William, of course, minus Catherine because of Catherine's pregnancy, was sat next to the Queen, and Charles was sat on the Queen's other side. So she was kind of flanked by her team, I suppose, the immediate line of succession. But Meghan looked very happy and well and very cheery. I think I saw Prince Edward standing behind Harry and Meghan at one point having a chat. So do go and check out that video. And there's a few photos as well, which I managed to get quite early on. Dandy says, what did I think of Meghan's outfits this week? Hit or miss? I loved the black dress. I don't think she needed the jacket with one of the outfits. But yes, generally, I thought her fashion was really good. And I did love the little black dress. I thought it was really, really cool. And it reminded me a little bit of Jackie Onassis, perhaps. What do you think? First Mrs. R says, Mrs. Barbara Bush died as well as the Queen's last corgi. She was a descendant of Susan. Yes, I believe it was Willow. And I've not had a chance to make a Willow video yet because of all the things that were going on this week. I had to edit a little bit about what I put out this week because time was limited and there was so much going on. But I do endeavour soon to address the whole issue of Willow. Now, she does have two other dogs left. I do believe they are Dorgies, Dachshund and Corgi crosses. And I do believe she still has those. But yes, Willow was the last of the descendant line of Susan. So, oh, maybe she does have one other corgi because I believe she adopted the dog. I think it may have even been a corgi of a tenant, a staff member, which she was really friendly of. So I'm not sure whether it's her final corgi, but I will try and find out. But yes, very, very sad, a very sad week for the Queen. But yet also, I'd imagine the pain was slightly obscured, shall we say, because of all that was going on this week. So I would imagine the loss of Willow would probably hit the Queen a lot more next week because of all the things that have been going on this week. It's probably been crazy, and also the celebrations of her birthday. But she is used to losing animals. She's kept them all the way through her life. She knows that an animal's life is precious and short. So she would have always known that the dog's life was going to come to an end. I think she's quite pragmatic about things like that. Yes, she will still feel sad and upset, but I think the majority of the mourning of Willow will probably happen next week, because obviously everything that's been going on this week. And yes, Debbie Debs, Harry and Meghan is glowing. I do agree. Okay, I'm trying to scroll up. I do keep losing my comments. Okay, Ken says, was the statement about the Prince of Wales at the Commonwealth meeting just a polite way of saying that he will be the head of the Commonwealth, then king, or is he taking leadership sooner? No, he will only take leadership of the Commonwealth after the Queen's passing, or I presume if the Queen isn't able to fulfil that duty. Although I would imagine that it's a bit like deputising like he does now. I wouldn't imagine the Queen will resign from the position. I think she will definitely hold it until the moment that she passes. And that moment, Charles will succeed as head of the Commonwealth because they've just agreed that at the meeting. Jamie says, makes no sense to me how we get programs like that in Ireland where the Queen is still largely disliked and they can't even get it in Canada and Australia. I think that's all to do with TV licensing and broadcasting issues, I would imagine. Nina says, I liked her sundresses and love Meg in green. Yes, she did wear a really nice green outfit, didn't she? Today, I think. Jeff says, Elliot, is that a new brooch? No, I just haven't worn this one for a while. David says, is baby number 3 late? No, it's not. It's still too early. I think lots of people were hoping that baby would come early, but the actual due date is the 23rd. Dawn says, I was hoping somehow that the Duchess of Cambridge was at the Commonwealth dinner to see if she received the family order, but I guess with the birth so close, they could not count on her being there. And on the issue of the family order, not all of the royals wore theirs. Camilla wore hers. I don't believe Princess Anne wore hers. So I think it was quite selective about who chose to wear them. Maybe a memo went out that it wasn't essential to wear it, but Camilla definitely wore hers. Liz says, any news on Prince Philip? No, all has gone quiet on the scene, and I'm presuming that no news is good news, that he's just recovering and recuperating. Claire says, hello everyone, sorry I'm late. Don't worry, you can always catch up later once this video goes live on my channel, once it's finished. Dawn says, if Charles does not take it on, the head of the Commonwealth, who would? Well, if he didn't want it, I mean, this is completely hypothetical because he does want it, but if he didn't want it, then they would be looking for someone else. They could either rotate it amongst members, or they could appoint someone else as an independent. They could choose Prince William. They could choose Prince Harry. But yes, I don't think that's going to happen. That's purely hypothetical. And don't worry, Sharon, it's not too late. You've only missed 23 minutes. Vinnie Blair says, the thing is, they did not say if Charles's reign would have a term limit. I would imagine it's for life. It definitely will not have a term limit. The term limit will be life. That's what it will be. The first Mrs. R says, do you think the Commonwealth would ever pass a regulation that the British monarch automatically becomes head of the Commonwealth? It would make sense to do so. because, I mean, even rotating the head of state amongst members can cause issues. I think having someone that's considered to be independent and above politics is always handy. And to have, again, that continuity, that knowing who that person is going to be, I think would help the Commonwealth. I think it has benefited the Commonwealth, knowing that that the head of the Commonwealth has just been the Queen until she dies. I think that's helped with a lot of perhaps potential infighting and disagreements. So I think it would be sensible to do something like that. But I don't think we'll see anything of that soon. Perhaps when it gets towards the end of Charles's life, they may discuss it when it comes to William perhaps succeeding his father and taking over in that role. It may become a pertinent question then, but I definitely don't think it's a question for now. Sue Miller says, thank you, Royal Reviewer, for the best internet videos ever. I see that there are no new postings about the Duchess of Cornwall and the ongoing feud with the royal family. What is the truth, please? The truth is there is no feud. The people that are making up these feud videos are just trying to get your views to make money. It's clickbait, and they are just pushing lies and peddling lies. Let me put it this way. Camilla, every time I've seen her with the Queen and any other member of the royal family, looks perfectly happy and content. I see no truth in any of this, and these issues are not reported in UK media. It's just these internet sites online and YouTube and Facebook that are just trying to get your clicks. Jamie said Marian Hagan. They're behind me. Claire says, CBS has a special on Meghan and Prince Harry last night. I thought it was well done. If it was the one that I saw last week, where it followed their whole relationship, then yes, it was well done. I did actually enjoy that one. And it was kind of like thinking back to all the videos I've made, because everything that it commented on, I thought, I made a video on that at the time. I made a video on that. I said that. I said this. So it was kind of like watching different segments of my channel all stuck together into one. So yes, it was very well done. It was very factual, and I thought it was very good. On the subject of Meghan and Harry's wedding, I have to say, I have seen photographs of Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, working out. He's 73? Is he 73 or 70? Anyway, he's in his 70s, and he was working out. I think he's trying to get trim for the wedding, and I just thought, oh, I mean, a little tear is welling up in my eye, because I think he's such a proud and happy father. And it just goes to show that even at his age and, being a little bit of a recluse, like he's been reported to be, he's really trying to make an effort for his daughter. And I just thought that was really touching and lovely. Obviously, he wants to look good in his suit walking down the aisle with Meghan. And I just think he's putting in a lot of effort, and it's just really lovely. He was also photographed a few weeks ago reading a book on British history. I mean, I just think that's lovely that he wants to learn more about what his daughter's becoming involved with. Maybe even to have conversations with the royal family. It's really sweet. I think from what I've seen of him, I think he's a really lovely, sweet man who loves his daughter and dotes on her. And he's trying his hardest to assimilate himself with what his daughter is going to be involved with. And I just thought that was lovely. And a little tear is fluttering in my eye, because it is just lovely. And yeah, I think he's a good egg. I mean, say what you like about the rest of Meghan's extended family, but I do think her mother and father are actually really decent, nice people. And that's what I've seen and what I've observed. And, the actions of Thomas Markle, that I've seen him taking these little steps to really integrate himself with what Meghan's going to experience, I think was just lovely. Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, I just thought it was really touching and lovely. Arnold Sanders says the British hatred of Meghan is ramping up too. I don't see in my daily life any ramping up of hatred towards Meghan. I really don't. If I did, I would say so, but I honestly don't. In some of my videos, some people are making comments. I can't tell whether they are British people or not. They are probably, in all fairness, just anti-monarchist people making those comments, not necessarily anti-Meghan. Just anyone who will get on a bandwagon to stir up Republican feelings. And, you know, we do have people in the UK that would like Britain to become a republic and to lose its monarchy. Those people exist. Those people have a voice. Those people are right to have that voice. But sometimes they do try and use underhand tactics, and they try and pick on easy targets. And I think Meghan coming into the royal family and being different, you know, having a difference, is an easy target for those people to try and pick at. And I think that's what they're doing. And I think sometimes for people looking in on Britain, if you're just using a sample of comments in videos as an opinion basing fact finding mission, I think you're failing, because it's not a true representative. It's just that in this kind of forum, when people can hide behind a computer screen, she's an easy target to push their Republican anti-monarchist views, and they're trying to get under people's skin, and in some cases they're working. Vinny Blair says some sections of the media are ramping up their hate for Meghan. Do they think they can stop the wedding in a month? No, they most certainly can't. And yes, like some sections of the media, particularly I think online, are ramping up perhaps, you know, things about Meghan to try and get clicks. Again, it's back to this clickbait culture that I think we've got online. I don't do that on my channel because I just report what's true. Well, I try to report just what I know to be facts. And I can certainly say that in the British print media and on the British television, I mean, I've even filmed off the telly what goes out there in the news about Meghan when they're reporting on Meghan. Do you see any hate? I certainly don't. I see excited newsreaders being involved. I see crowds of people cheering on Harry and Meghan. I see people with their arms open. I see Meghan hugging people. I see lots of happy and smiley faces. I don't see hate. I'm just saying. Joyce says, Lady Bungham, I have wondered why she does not have the family order yet. I think it's just a matter of time. The Queen does give out these family orders, but sometimes they have to wait. And I think some of them are waiting. But like I said a few weeks ago, I do think Catherine most certainly is due. She's been married, what is it, 7 years? Coming up to 7 years, 7 years. And she will have imminently 3 children, 3 potential, you know, in the direct line of succession. I think she's due one, and I would be very surprised if I don't see her with a family order sometime this year. Oh dear says, your coverage has been excellent. Thank you. I have really tried. It's been so busy. Holly says, hello Elliot, I am a wee bit tardy in getting on your site. Don't worry. And yes, big thumbs up. Thank you. If you've enjoyed this video, please take the moment, the second, to give it a big old thumbs up, and also hit that notification bell too. Christine says, today I saw a photo of Mrs. Bush with Charles and Diana. So nice. It is really nice to relive those royal memories. Jamie says, wonder if the Queen will cry in public at Philip's funeral or vice versa. It most certainly is a wondering. I mean, the royal family, and especially the Queen, is very good at holding back emotion. She did shed a tear at the decommissioning of Britannia, so it's possible that she could shed a tear at Prince Philip's funeral. Holly Anderson says, what a special day in the UK today. Her Majesty does so well for being 92. She does indeed. I think she has her mother's genes. May she live as long as the Queen Mother. Going back to your comment about, you know, how well she does for being 92, I watched The Queen's Green Planet. I finally caught up yesterday. It was the only chance I got to watch it. with Sir David Attenborough. And oh my goodness, she is so sharp of mind and sprightly. I love the bit where she corrected him about the naming of the tree, and he'd made a slight mistake. He said that the first one was Andrew, and then the second tree was Andrew, and she said, "Well, they can't be both." And it just made me laugh because she's so on the button and sharp. Yes, concessions are being made towards her age with regards to her body, although she's still incredibly sprightly, I have to say. But her mind is sharp. It's completely still there. I mean, I don't see any loss of mental capacity whatsoever. She is on the button. She is as bright as a button. She is on point with her comments. And that Queen's Green Planet was a delight to watch. And it was really interesting as well to see how the rest of the family are clubbing together to push this Queen's canopy, the Queen's Commonwealth canopy, across the Commonwealth. And how many of the Commonwealth countries have dedicated, huge forests, huge tracts of lands, or even smaller pieces of lands to being protected for the Queen's canopy, which protects forests and trees and wildlife and habitats and ecosystems for future generations to come. And I just loved that program. It was really, really good. Hello to Ingrid. Ken says, I don't think the Queen cried publicly at her father's funeral. Of course, she had a long veil. I would expect the same long veil. I mean, those kind of veils aren't in fashion these days. She didn't, I don't think she wore one for her mother's. So maybe we won't see a veil. I'm predicting no veil. It's possible, but I'm thinking that they aren't in fashion these days. Even in mourning, I don't think they are in fashion. And yes, Holly, it was a lovely concert in honor of her birthday. I enjoyed every moment. And I really, really loved when they were playing the ukuleles. You have to see that bit. It was really, really good. And you could tell that they'd researched what kind of music the Queen really liked, because there were moments when it could only have ever been the Queen's personal choice, some of this music, but it was really, really good. They did have some modern singers too, and it all kind of blended really, really well. I think it was a good birthday party that I think the Queen would actually have really enjoyed. And you could see her kind of wanting to sing the words to one of the songs, but she was trying not to, as she does in her normal style. But I think I could tell that she was really enjoying it, and she liked having all of her family there too. Holly says, what a special day in the UK today. Her Majesty does so well being 92. Oh, I think I've read that one. I will go down. I did lots of speaking in between that. Marilyn says, I live in Houston and watch the Barbara Bush funeral. I take my dogs to Millie Bush Bark Park. That's a tongue twister. Named after the Bush's dog while they were in the White House. They are both a treasure in Houston. Well, there you go. And Alex says, isn't the wedding going to conflict with Catherine's due date? No, Catherine's due date is the 23rd of April and the wedding is May the 19th. So I should hope that Catherine still isn't pregnant by then. And Catherine is pretty good at springing back into shape and health after pregnancies. So I think she'll be fine. Dandy says, yes, it's called the Jackie O dress. I agree that the jacket hung a bit wonky and could have been edited out. Oh, thank you to David Soriano for making a donation to the page. Thank you so much. Ingrid says, I'm so sad for the Queen losing her beloved little doggy Willow. Condolences, dear Queen. Our pets are in our hearts. Yes, my heart did go out for the Queen on that occasion. But like I said, I think she's been so busy with the Commonwealth Heads of Government week that it won't hit her until next week, definitely. Okay, I just had to have a little cough because hay fever. It's hay fever now. Since the sun's come out in the UK, all the trees are blossoming. and there's hay fever everywhere. I don't usually suffer, but I think it's particularly bad this year. Holly Anderson says, in this country, we said goodbye to one of our first ladies. Yes, I've heard quite a lot about it, and I have seen some news clips. Qualtinger fan says, this event reminded me of Fanfare for Elizabeth from 1986. I still have the royalty magazine from then. Does anyone remember that concert? Yes, she did have a big, I mean, obviously, I don't remember it. I was only 3 at the time. But yes, I have heard that it happened, and I have seen some clips or photographs or something, I seem to remember. And it does seem in a very similar style to that occasion. And yes, oh no, it's true, poor little Willow. Yes, Willow has sadly passed. And Ingrid said, yes, I was right, Meghan Markle rocks the Jackie O style. Yes, I think she did. I loved that dress, I really did. L Kissing a Fool says, when is Kate's due date? 23rd of April. Is everyone excited in the UK? I am here in California. Like I say, I think people are feigning interest at the moment. But as soon as it happens, all eyes will be on the Lindo wing. It will be jam-packed. It will be on the news 24/7 until there's any news available to release. It will be in all the papers. That's just the British way, I'm afraid. OAM Thaney says, I support Charles as head of the Commonwealth because William and Harry's efforts are garnering renewed interest in the role of the royals. Harry and Meghan's already is generating this revival. Yes, and of course, it was really, really good this week to hear that Harry has a role within the Commonwealth. He was promoted by the Queen to have an official role, which I think was really important because Prince Andrew suffered the fate of not really having, I suppose, a purpose in his roles. And I think giving Harry and Meghan in turn a meaty Commonwealth role is going to help Harry. I mean, obviously, he's done incredibly well with his Invictus Games projects and all the work they do with the Royal Foundation, with Heads Together and mental health. But I think having a proper Commonwealth role is really going to help. And I think it was very special for him. And he made a speech at the Commonwealth Youth Forum, which I made a video on, which was particularly good. And I think he's very passionate about this new role. And being the Commonwealth Youth Ambassador is certainly something which I think is going to keep him busy, and he'll do really well in with Meghan by his side. Odia says, your decor is great tonight. Love the trotting out of Meghan and Harry, along with the flag and cute bears. Yes, I think Meghan and Harry are going to make a regular appearance, at least until the wedding. They have been living midweek, in between shows, in a cardboard box, flat, behind my dishwasher. But every week I will get them out, and we can admire them, I think. KM says, good evening from New York. How is Prince Philip? We don't know. Everything's gone really quiet on that front. But like I say, no news is good news. And I love the outfit. You look very smart. God bless the Queen. Jamie says, I find it weird to think I could live to see Prince George's child become king or queen. You could. Maybe if I live to 110, I will. Who knows? I may be pickled and preserved in a jar. I may just be a brain hooked up to a monitor. First Mrs. R says, Princess Royal looks spectacular in that shimmering dress. Yes, and the Queen's dress as well. The Queen's dress tonight, oh my goodness, it was lovely. Pleated and gorgeous. If you haven't seen the video, please check it out. She looks amazing. Cynthia says, hello, will Camilla become queen? Yes, she will. Queen consort, unless there is a change in the law, which there is not yet. So yes, she will become queen, despite whatever anyone is peddling out there. Unless there is, it boils down to, unless there is a law change, the wife of the King of England is the Queen consort, and that is it. Nothing anyone can do. OAM Thaney says, Elliot, of course I love your channel. How do you structure your week to access all you present? Very hard. Imagine getting up, well, okay, should we go through my day on a typical working day? My alarm goes off at 6:55. I get out of bed at about 7:05. Then I get ready, do a full day at work, come home about 4, have a little snack, get straight stuck into compiling all the information for the day's videos. Some days are more heavy work based than others in terms of if loads of royals have been doing engagements, then there's lots to do. I try and fit, each engagement or each thing into a different separate video, so it's easy to compartmentalize it, so you know that you're watching a particular video on a particular issue. I don't so much like doing update videos, but sometimes when there's so much to put in there, I just have to. There's no other way of doing it, and I just have to call it a royal update video, and there's just loads of information in. But I like to try and do different individual videos. Then by the time I've done that and filmed it and compiled it and voiced over, uploaded it, done the tags and titles and description and tried to promote it on the internet, it's like 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. Then I have to have my tea. Then I finally get to sit down and have a rest and watch a little bit of telly, and then it's bed. And then on some days I have visitors, family visitors. I have to squeeze in my shopping. I only have 2 days off a week anyway, and then on those other 2 days I have to do my cleaning and regular boring housework stuff. It's busy. Let's put it that way. It's very busy. But I'm sure you've all got busy lives, and if you've got children, that's even harder. Okay, let me see. Cherry Blossom says, hello from beautiful USV. USV? Was that US of A? I love your show. I see that Meghan and Harry are still in your living room. Well, it's my kitchen, and yes, they are, but they live behind the dishwasher. Ingrid says, hello, love your brooch today. I'm so happy for Charles, but I hope our Queen lives to be over 100. It's possible she could do. Jamie says, we hereby sentence Charles, Prince of Wales, to life in the Commonwealth. Yes, it is a bit like that. But I think I think he wanted it. I think he definitely wanted it. Bertie Rose says, are you going to watch the Meghan and Harry movie on the 13th? I'm skeptical. The William and Catherine one was dreadful. And I'm skeptical about it. I may see it when it comes out on DVD in the bargain bin. Maybe. Okay, if the reviews on it are good, then I might go and see it. No, I haven't had fish and chips today. It's been too hot. It was too hot for fish and chips today. Resilient Gal is the Princess Beatrice blog, and Princess Beatrice blog sent me some lovely photographs which I used in one of my videos of Princess Beatrice at the event at Buckingham Palace with the Queen at the dinner. There was no tiara. I think we were all a little bit sad that there was no tiara. I think it would have been a perfect chance to see Beatrice and Eugenie wearing tiaras, but they passed up that opportunity and we didn't see it. So I think the first time that we are going to see a tiara on one of the York princesses will be at Eugenie's wedding. Cherry Blossom says, by the way, we need to come up with a nickname for the Harry and Meghan duo. Okay, get thinking. Hagan? Marry? Okay, they suck. Try and think of some good ones. Janet Fox says, Elliot, is it true that only married royal ladies wear tiaras? Technically, yes. I noticed Princess Beatrice was not wearing a tiara during the Commonwealth dinner. They still could, technically. I mean, it's not a law. It's not a law that you don't have to, but traditionally, yes. So I think the only time we're going to see a York princess is when Eugenie gets married. Resilient Girl says, wow, I love the cutout poster. It's a cardboard life-size cutout. It's amazing. Dandy says, I'm so excited for that movie, even though it will be schmaltzy. Maybe that's what I don't like, the schmaltzy. Maybe I'm not a schmaltzy fan. James Medford says, Prince Charles has been so well-travelled and knows so much about these countries in the Commonwealth. He truly cares that they're for their well-being and future. Yes, I completely agree with that, and I think Harry does too, because when Harry was talking in the Queen's Green Planet program, he really spoke of the importance of preserving, for example, rainforests and forestry in the Commonwealth for the future generations' good. I'm sure William is the same. We saw that William, when he was in Canada, I think it was the Great Bear Rainforest, I think I've got that right, which has been, parts of that have been dedicated to the Queen's Commonwealth canopy. So yes, I think everyone is singing from the same hymn sheet within the working royals and the royal family. Resilient Girl says, you look great, Elliot. Thank you so much. Sharon Nichols says, only 19 more subscribers needed to hit 30,000. Come on, everyone, hit that sub button. Yes, if you're not subscribed already, please do, because I am only 19 off 30,000. I may even hit 30,000 subscribers live on air. Maybe we can have, oh, I haven't got a party popper. My goodness. I was meaning to get one and I didn't. And I could have popped it. M says, do you think the Countess of Wessex will possibly work with Meghan on women's empowerment? It's possible. I think Meghan will take her own direction. But again, it's possible they could team up. Why not? I don't see why not. There's no reason why not. Dandy says, it was called Meghan Markle, an American princess, and aired last night. I don't think that was the one I saw. Maybe it was. I can't remember the title. But the one I saw was really, really good. And I'm glad the one you saw was good too. Ken says, is it customary for women of royal or noble birth only to start wearing tiara upon marriage? It's customary. But like I say, it's not a written down law. Dandy says, when I saw him working out, I got a bit emotional too, as well as when he was reading the book on the British family history. I teared up. I just think it's really sweet. It's really, really sweet that he's trying so hard. He's never, I don't know whether he's been to England before, but you know, he's been kind of, and I'll use the word reclusive in commas, and I just think, you know, he's just really trying, and it's sweet. It really is sweet. Okay. Oh dear says, Andrew Morton reported on the Wendy show from New York that Meghan's mother would be walking her down the aisle. I don't think that's true. And the dad would not be attending. I don't think that's true either. So Americans have the wrong end of the stick. I think so. I think Andrew Morton has the wrong end of the stick. All the evidence is pointing towards her father walking her down the aisle. We had the close friend of Thomas Markle who spoke out and said that he's really excited. And, you know, although not confirmed by him directly, I do think that's true. And also, we've got the evidence of him reading the book on Britain. We've got him working out. And, you know, let's be honest, it looks like he probably hasn't worked out in an incredibly long time. Why is he suddenly making the effort? If it's not to fit into a lovely wedding outfit, to walk his daughter proudly down the aisle. So I think Andrew Morton is speaking through his bottom, shall we say. And I can almost guarantee that we will see Thomas Markle walking Meghan Markle, or Rachel, as she'll be going down the aisle as, down that aisle. And if he's not, I will eat my hat. There we go. Dandy says, it goes to show that her family doesn't know anything and he will be going to the wedding. Yes, I think he will most definitely 100% be at the wedding. Flouting Kaiser says, His Majesty the King's comment regarding the Queen largely disliked in Ireland is utter tattle. She is deeply admired in the Republic of Ireland. If only the voice of bitter and backward sectarian political people. Well, there you go. I mean, obviously, I don't live in Ireland, so I can't sort of tell you the mood on the street. I'm just reading the comments. Rita says, checking in from Cincinnati. Hello to you. And thank you for all your comments on the videos too. Dandy says, I think her parents are lovely too. They are the ones who raised her, not the other jackals. Linda says, I totally agree with you. The First Minister says, if Camilla outlives Charles, what will her title be? She will be a Dowager Duchess. And who would have to become the Queen Mother if they had remained. Oh, Diana would have become the Queen Mother if they had remained married. Well, no, I don't think she would necessarily have become the Queen Mother. She would have just been Queen Diana. I think the only reason why the Queen Mother took on the Mother's title is because Queen Elizabeth, our present Queen, shares the same name as the Queen Mother. We would have had two Queen Elizabeths, and I think to get that distinction, they used the older title of the Queen Mother to kind of separate them. I don't believe Diana would have probably had the Queen Mother title, although because she wouldn't necessarily have been that. It's hard to say because obviously Diana's not here. The wedding didn't, the marriage rather didn't last with Charles. But I don't think Diana would have taken up the Queen Mother. It's possible had Diana lived but still been divorced from Charles, that maybe William could have given her the even older title of My Lady the King's Mother, which was actually the title of Henry VII's mother. There you go. So it is actually a title within the royal family just since Tudor times. And I do believe Diana probably would have been My Lady, Her Royal Highness, My Lady the King's Mother. There you go. That's what I speculate that she would have been. But it's so hard to say. Nina says, I'm getting so excited about this wedding and probably cry when I see her dad walking his girl down the aisle. He's certainly making the effort. Vinny says, yes, Morton has the wrong end of the stick. I think so. Hello to Joan from Lincoln Park. Arnold Sanders says, read the comments on these YouTube videos. I will try and read them more. I don't always have time. OAM says, I just shared the site with some Facebook groups who love Meghan and Harry. Hope some subscribe. Thank you. I hope they do. I hope I reach my 30,000. Reed says, I have heard of lots of terrible things and have had word. Dandy says, they're really mean and racist and pick Meghan to bits. Ingrid says, would be lovely for Meghan Markle to be walked down the aisle by her dad. I think that's going to happen. Ken says, if Camilla keeps only the Duchess of Cornwall title, she would be the Dowager Duchess of Cornwall. Exactly. Chase Med 4 says, Meghan's parents will be able to relax after they are received graciously by the Queen. She will make them feel welcomed, and that will be wonderful for them. Yes, I completely agree with that too. Vinny says, the ramping up is online. I would agree with that. I've agreed with 3 things so far. And is largely US and UK conservatives. I'm not so sure about the conservative part of that. I think it's more liberals, actually. The liberals in the UK are quite anti things these days and are quite supportive of republics, I might add. Davis Hoyana says, do I support gun control? Yes, because in the UK we have a ban on guns and it works very well for us. I think if you worked into percentages, because obviously we have a massive population difference, but if you look at geographical perhaps percentages, and I think not having a gun culture works in our favour. Yes, we still have other weapons like knives on the street, but the amount of shootings is way down, and so yes, I believe in gun control. In the UK, people can still have guns if they've got a reason for having one. If you work on a farm, or you go hunting, or if you have some proper reason to have one, then you can still have one. You just apply for a license, and there's a whole load of regulations that govern it. Like, for example, you have to have a proper locked cabinet to store them in, and all the rest of it. You have to keep renewing the license. You have to notify them of the different weapons that you have. But we certainly don't have all these, machine gunny type weapons that there seems to be in America. What normal person? I mean, even if you're a hunter, or even if you've got a reason for having a gun, who needs one of those types of guns? It's crazy. And I think in the UK we look a little bit at America and think, how can you have all of those on the street and feel comfortable with it? and what's the need for having sometimes the magnitude of the weaponry that's out there. That's just from our little culture, because we don't peddle guns, and we're perfectly fine without them. Even our general police don't carry guns. We have certain armed police, but not every police officer carries a gun. In fact, the majority of them don't carry guns. And like I say, our gun crime compared to America is down. I'm just saying. Ingrid says, Elliot, have you gotten any new letters from the royals? No, and I don't think I'm going to, because I think I had about 2 or 3 replies from the Christmas ones I sent. I don't know why. Maybe some of them didn't even get sent out, because I actually sent them from a card company online. So I'm not sure whether some of them even got there, but I don't think I had one from, was it Charles and Camilla? I can't remember. Anyway, there was some that I didn't get a response from. So I will try again next year and see what happens. Jamie says, Flo Kaiser, completely untrue. At least 30 to 40% of Irish people outside of Dublin still hold a grudge against UK imperialism and the Queen as its representative. Rodney says, I admire her parents for not commenting on any negativity towards their daughter. I'm glad the rest of the family isn't invited. And of course, you're referring to Meghan Markle's family. First Mrs. R says, I think like any parent, he wants his daughter's day to be perfect as possible, and he'll do anything he can to make that happen. He's certainly trying hard. He's a sweetie. Joan says, I see new blood and the prospect of great change with Prince Harry and Meghan. I certainly don't think they'll hang around waiting for a baby. I think they'll be trying pretty much straight away. Janet Fox says, I think Meghan's parents are lovely. Their daughter is poised, intelligent, and full of grace. I'm sure it's due to nature and nurture. I would agree there. Bay says, I think Meghan Markle's dad is a very shy man. He is, which makes it even more lovely that he's really making that effort. Rita says, I'm excited to see her dad. And you want both of them to walk Meghan down the aisle. Well, I don't think we'll see 2. I don't think she'll be flanked. I think we'll see Dad walking her down the aisle. Dandy says, Andrew Morton reported that Meghan's dad won't be there because he's listening to her extended family. Oh, what does Andrew Morton know? Crikey. Does he have them on tap? I don't think so. I think he's trying to stir up a little bit of kerfuffle, shall we say. The first Mrs. R says, Ken ATL Camilla will almost certainly be known as Queen. I agree. So I guess she would be the Dowager Queen. She would be Dowager Queen Camilla. Ingrid says, indeed, the first Mrs. R can't wait for them to have babies. They will be so cute. Meghan has the cutest curly hair. She should cut it and let it be natural. And of course, we spoke a few weeks ago about the movement for natural hair that I think is predominantly in America, but I think it's coming into different places as well in the world. Dawn says, have a great chat, all company here for dinner. Enjoy your dinner. OAM Fanny says, last question. Do you think the wording, supposedly from Kensington Palace, that heads of state are not required semantically means friends who are heads of states or former heads, for example, the Obamas are okay? I think what it means is that Harry is not, although he's in the direct line of succession, he's enough down now that it's very highly unlikely that he will ever be king. So there is no need for there to be for it to be a political wedding and a formal wedding. It's more a private wedding that the world's invited to. Kind of think of it a bit like that. So in the chapel, it will be predominantly his friends and family, people that he wants there. We know he's invited loads of other guests as well, you know, good people that do good work from the UK who are going to be in the grounds of Windsor Castle and all the rest of it. We know that already. But I think, you know, so as not to cause any political arguments as well, they've just said it's kind of like a friends and family type wedding. And I think that was, like I say, their way of saying that. However, Obama may go to the evening reception. We don't know. We don't know who's been invited to the evening reception. Maybe he will go there because they are friends. I mean, you know, regardless of the fact that he's an ex-president, they're still friends and they like each other's company and they've got shared interests. So I would be surprised, perhaps, if they're not at the reception. Ingrid says, Paul Thompson, what are you talking about? Pitiful. If you know anything about marriage, marriage gets rich like a fine wine. And yes, Rachel, happy 92nd birthday, Your Majesty. Okay, Rita says, what is a family order? I know there is a crest coming soon. A family order, okay, this is my fake version, but it's like a little bow, and it has kind of like in diamonds around it, a portrait, a miniature of the Queen, and it's within the Queen's gift to give to royal people with HRH status within the royal family. Predominantly working royals as well. And like I say, it's in the Queen's gift to give it. And usually she does give it to those working royals, but sometimes she can make them wait. And it's not a mark of disrespect from the Queen if you're waiting. I think she just kind of likes them to perhaps prove themselves. And I think, like I say, I think Catherine's time is coming. You know, she's what, 7 or 8 years, something like that, into the 7 years into the marriage. 3 children, nearly. I think she's just about there. So I think we will see one very, very soon on Catherine. Rhonda says, hello, Elliot. I am watching from America. Hello to you. I really enjoy watching your coverage. I just finished watching your video on the Queen's concert. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a really lovely concert. Claire says, does Prince Philip spend most of his time at Park Farm or Wolverton these days? It was believed a while ago that he had a kind of like a farmhouse on the Sandringham estate. And I think that's where he's been spending most of his weeks. And then the Queen has been coming to see him at weekends, or alternatively, he's been joining her at Windsor. And I think that's the way it's been predominantly since he's retired. It's a bit like his man pad, a bit like his man cave, as we say in the UK. And the Queen goes and stays at that farmhouse because it's cheaper than opening up all of Sandringham. So they kind of have a little cozy weekends together. And I think so she kind of comes to him after her busy working week. And, you know, maybe that's what it will be next weekend. I mean, obviously she's had quite a heavy week this week. So maybe, you know, when he's feeling a bit better, he might travel to her a bit more. But yes, he's fine. There is nothing wrong at the moment with Philip. We think he's just recuperating as one would from the sort of surgery that he's had. And no, Rachel, I have not been to any Trooping of the Colours. I would love to go one day. And yes, Ingrid, the Queen is more beautiful than ever in her old age. She looks like she's getting younger with a spark in her eye. She's always looked good, but yes, I mean, she does have a particular sparkle in that eye that really shines through. Midnight Hazel is here and says, I hope Jamie is monitoring the comments. He is. James Med4 says, Lady Louise got to go to the concert. She looks to be enjoying herself. I'm wondering if she'll be a bridesmaid to tend to the train. I would like to see that. I really would like to see that. And yes, she looked lovely at the concert on the balcony. Candice is predicting a veil. I think a veil. Oh, do you mean for the funeral of Prince Philip or the wedding? Okay, have I finally got down to the bottom of the comments? No. Oh no, I've just oh wow, I've just skipped my comments and just realized that I've hit 30,000 subscribers. My goodness, lots of people have been saying congratulations and celebrations and popping fireworks. Yes, you've got my attention. Wow, 30,000 subscribers live on air. Wow. Do you know what? The last kind of 6,000 or 7,000 subscribers has actually gone really, really quick. And I have my target of 50,000 by Christmas. Do you think I'll do it? I really want to, but wow, 30,000 subscribers. I remember when I first started this channel and I had like 2 subscribers. It was just so minuscule. Wow, 30,000 subscribers. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to this channel and watches the videos and watches them all the way through to the end, that gives the thumbs up and that hits the notification bell, because it really does help all of the videos. So thank you so much. Now I'm just going to go up and see where I left off with the comments. Where was I? Hang on. Okay, I've missed loads of comments. Okay, hang on. Okay, Jamie says, Elliot, your hair is much better like that, more regal. Jamie says, it looks like the Queen's hair. Thank you. I'm glad you like the new hair. In fact, it's still growing out. It still needs to kind of grow so that I can sweep it all the way back to the back. It's getting there. It really is. And yes, the Queen's dress was on point. Lillian Rose says, that was a very canny observation, Royal Reviewer. To have a role for Prince Harry is essential. I wish Prince Andrew had had such a role early in life, soon after leaving the Navy. It would have been good for him. And I still don't think I've kind of caught up with the comments. Hang on. Okay, here we are. Right, I think I've found it. Resilient Girl says, I was a bit disappointed we didn't get to see the York girls in tiaras. Yes, I completely agree. It was very disappointing. But like I say, they could be waiting until they're married. But I don't think that necessarily, like I say, it's not written in law. They could still have put one on. Ingrid says, hi, Paul. Philip is 96. He's got his tree growing quite well. Now worry about yours. Oh, my goodness. Fifth Mrs. R says, so much of the work Her Majesty does helps to keep her mind sharp. Lillian Rose says, I felt the same way about Mr. Markle working out, cheering him on. It was quite moving. I wanted to reassure him it'll be okay on the day. I think it will. The fifth Mrs. R says, do you think the wedding will be Catherine's first event after new baby Cambridge? No, because I think that will be a big deal if it's her first event. I think she might have one, maybe kind of getting back into work role engagement maybe the week before, just to take that attention away from turning up on the actual day. So no, I think that she'll have something before. Rebecca says, how are you feeling about the wedding of Princess Eugenie? I feel like she's so underrated. I'm very excited for it. I really want to see, the dress and everything that she's got planned as well. I am excited. And also the York tiara, I think she'll wear. Linda P. Golan says, has there been any reporting of what arrangements for Philip's funeral? Oh no, like Operation London Bridge, where the newsreaders wear black. Yes, there will already be pre-prepared clips and articles and everything written. Newsreaders in the UK always have a black suit handy. And yes, there is an operation for his funeral that will have been rehearsed just like the Queen's. Ingrid says, all in all, so excited about the new baby, and Meghan Markle and Harry keep on rocking. Oh my goodness. I think M has donated $49.99 to the site. Thank you so much. I'm amazed. Wow, thank you. Thank you for your kind donation. I will make sure that I will put it towards something for this channel, maybe something to review. Maybe something from the Amazon wishlist. Oh, speaking of the Amazon wishlist, I received a few extra things this week from the Amazon wishlist. The link to it is in the description of this video. So I will be making some more opening haul videos soon. I have put the footage. I've made the footage and opened them. There's some exciting things, but I need to just put it all together, edit it, and then I will put the videos out. So thank you so much if you have donated to the Amazon wish list. Okay. James Med4 says, I'm looking forward to seeing little George and Charlotte at the hospital and wedding. If they are in it, love their mischief. Me too. Claire Wells is thinking baby names. What about Albert, Arthur, or Alice? Well, I've always said Arthur for a boy and possibly Victoria for a girl. And yes, Sue Miller, there are some diehard royal watchers camping outside the hospital waiting for the news. As big a royal fan as I am, I would never do camping on the street just to get front row in the hospital thing, because all you see is people coming and going. You can actually see more on the TV. Even my love of the royal family would not get me camping. Ragtime Scott says, I think the Duchess of Windsor was the very first American princess. Wasn't she entitled to call herself Princess Edward? Well, yes, she would have been kind of known as Princess Edward, but it's not in her own right to be a princess. She wasn't a princess in her own right. She was the Duchess of Windsor, and she wasn't a Royal Highness Duchess of Windsor either. And I think, you know, the royal family at the time would not have wanted her to have had princess anywhere near her name, I think, as fairly or unfairly as that may seem. And no, I think I've just lost that comment. It's gone. Where's it going? Lillian Rose says, that was a very canny episode. I've read that one. I'm catching up with myself. And yes, I agree. A full-time royal needs a mission. US visa, US Virgin Islands. Of course it is. I'm just not used to it in abbreviated terms. Yes, I will do a video for Eugenie's wedding. And no news on the Duchess of Cambridge yet. How many Commonwealth countries have I visited? I've tried to get to many of them, but still a few outstanding. Well, I mean, a lot of the Commonwealth countries are quite far away from the UK. I haven't been to Australia. I haven't been to Canada. And I haven't been to any of the Caribbean countries. My parents have been to quite a few Caribbean countries on their travels. So really, I haven't been to that many Commonwealth countries. I would love to do a Commonwealth tour myself, and to see all the things. In fact, I've always said that if ever I was picked up by a TV network to do a TV show, I would like to do a TV show following in the footsteps of previous royal tours. So, for example, take William and Catherine's latest Canadian tour. I would love to go on a replica tour and to follow in all the places and all the things they did, and record it on TV, but also with the focus on catching up on what difference the royal visit made to the different places that they visited and stopped over at. So, for example, if they promoted a charity in Canada, what impact did their visit have on that charity? What legacy did a royal visit leave behind? And I would love to go and do loads of different foreign royal tours and, you know, explore it that way. So if ever I was, you know, picked to do a TV show, that's one of my ideas that I would love to do. And I think it would make a really good TV series. What do you think? Would you watch? Would you watch Elliot's royal tours? Tippy H says, hello, handsome Elliot. Well, thank you so much. Holly says, I'm coming to the UK in August. Do you think people will be a buzz about Princess Eugenie's wedding? British people do not get a buzz. Not until the last minute, anyway. I hope she gets ample attention and that her wedding is not compared with Harry and Meghan's. I would agree. But yes, the British buzz doesn't usually happen until right on the event. And yes, Rita, Wallace was not granted HRH status, but Meghan most definitely will be. Who will curtsy to Meghan? Anyone that ranks below will curtsy to Meghan. Dora says, from Watsonville, California, great videos on updates of the royal family and also Harry and Meghan. Thank you so much. Joan says, I love how you're adding to your background every week. Thank you. I've had loads of things sent to me from the wish list. So like I've got my amazing cutouts and my bears, and I might keep changing it up each week with the different things that I receive. I've had loads of cups and tea towels and all sorts, top hats, this bow tie. My goodness, I've had loads of things, and still more things that I need to show you as well. I've had things come as well. Rita says the Queen will update the order of who to courtesy to whom. I don't think she'll change things. It will just stick to the protocol that already exists. But anyone who ranks lower than Meghan will have to courtesy to her. And everyone curtsies to the Queen or bows. Vinny Blair says the name out there for Meghan and Harry is Hagen. Well, there you go. Okay, am I nearly caught up? Vinny Blair says, where did you all see the video of Mr. Markle working out? It wasn't a video. I saw one photo, and it wasn't really enough to make a video on, so I didn't. But maybe if I get the photo again of him reading the British book and the photo of him working out, maybe I could cobble together enough different things to make a video. If you want to see that video, just let me know. And yes, Rebecca, now Harry isn't just tagging on to William and Catherine. He has his fourth corner of the triad. They are now a square, a royal square, or the royal cube. Where will Meghan leave from on her wedding day and her family? Well, her family may be staying in one of the hotels in Windsor, and I'm not entirely sure where Meghan may start from. She could actually start from the castle. I think Sophie came from the castle when she got married there. And I seem to remember watching the wedding a long time ago, 1999. And I remember it coming down the mile walk. And yes, so I presume she'll do the same. I think Meghan will start from Windsor Castle. I don't think there will be any other viable option, really. Odia says, Andrew Morton has just released another scathing book about Meghan Markle and her family. I think he's got it. He just wants to make money. He's in it now just to make money, definitely. Kissing a Fool is excited to see Mr. Markle walking Meghan down the aisle. And yes, it is very sweet. Okay, and I've just got down to the bit where everyone congratulated me on 30,000 subscribers. So wow. And no, I don't know if Meghan Markle's father has had a coat of arms yet. I don't know, but I'm sure that will be released if it does happen. Have I ever visited the palaces? I suppose the closest I've been to the palace is the Tower of London. But no, I haven't. I've stood outside the Buckingham Palace gates, but no, I haven't visited a palace yet. I got up to the door of Kensington Palace, but at the time, the people that I was with didn't want to go in, so we just went to the shop. And it was like taking candy from a baby. I really wanted to go in, but I was unable. Dandy says the UK mean comments aren't coming from anti-monarchists as far as I can tell. They seem to be coming from monarchists who think Meghan will bring down the monarchy by wearing trousers. Well, I'm not so sure. I think there's a few anti-monarchists posing as monarchists to try and underline things, perhaps, maybe. Sorja says, what will you do on the day of the royal wedding? I will be watching it. I will be watching it, maybe doing a live stream, and definitely making loads of videos on it as much as I can. Holly Anderson says, I wish you continued success. Thank you so much. Lots of people sending me big thumbs up and congratulations. Elaine says, 100,000 YouTube certificate will be with you soon. Well, hopefully. Pride and place and frame behind you. Yes, if every YouTube channel that gets 100,000 subscribers gets a plaque. And yes, if I am lucky enough to get one, I will definitely frame it. Well, it's already framed, but I will put it up somewhere in the backdrop, definitely. But I've got a way to go before I get 100,000 subscribers. You get something else when you get to 1 million subscribers, and then you get something else again when you get to 10 million. But that's like dreamland. But I'm aiming for 50,000 by Christmas, definitely. And yes, Andrew Morton is making lots of money from his books. And yes, it was the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara that the Queen wore for the dinner at Buckingham Palace. First Mrs. R says, I think it will only be Meghan's dad, but there's a 5% chance both parents. I don't think it'll be both parents. I really don't. In the UK, we typically don't do two walking down the aisle. It will probably be her father. I think almost 100% sure. Resilient Girl says, I think Beatrice's future wedding guest list would be interesting because she seems to hang out with foreign royals and aristocrats and celebs. And again, it will be probably, it'll be up to her. It'll be her choice for who's there. And yes, I also hope that the Obamas will be at the reception. And I do think that Frogmore, I'm tipping Frogmore to be their royal home following the wedding. Apart from Kensington Palace, I think their outside London home will be Frogmore. I'm just saying, nothing confirmed on that, but my little thoughts, I'm leaning towards that Frogmore may have been chosen for Harry and Meghan. The Smiling Zombie has an interesting question, and he says, would you classify a hot dog as a sandwich? No, I would not, because they are different types of buns. Ken says the royal family order only goes to female royal family members as you described. Yes. M says, Jamie, it's Betsy. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that M was Betsy. I had no clue. Thank you, Betsy, for your donation. It was very, very kind. Betsy, a big supporter of the channel. And Betsy's the one that got me the top hat, which I'm still saving for the wedding. I'm going to wear it on the wedding day. Tippy says, Elaine, Katie's trying to push, Kate, push. I'm sure she will be trying to push. Vinny says, make the video about Mr. Markle. It's about time someone said something nice about him for posterity. I mean, I'm just saying what I observe, and I observe him to be a very sweet, private man who wants the best for his daughter. That's what I see. I generally just say what I see, and that's what I see. Odia says, you must be very encouraged by today's 30,000 subs. I started watching over a year ago. It must have been number 2 or 3. Wow, that was very early on following. Jamie says, Windsor is beautiful, although I don't see it for too long. Literally ran through the Great Hall. My legs were so sore from walking. I really want to see the Great Hall because that's the one that they rebuilt following the fire. And it was Prince Philip had a lot to do with the restoration of the Great Hall. And, a lot of that is down to his vision in sort of recreating but modernizing the space. It was, I suppose, Queen Elizabeth's only kind of real update on the castle. And Prince Philip had a lot to do with that. So I would really love to see that. Kissing a Fool says a live video would be great for the wedding, possibly a pre-wedding, then another to talk about the dress and details. Yes, I mean, I will definitely see how much time I have on that day. It's a Saturday, so I'm not working, so I will be able to watch the entire thing. Moon Mama's made it. Don't worry if you're a bit late, you can always watch on catch up. Mrs. R says, I've been monitoring the Special Palace website for new baby Cambridge. Keep watching, but the due date is 23rd. And Sandy is late too, but don't worry. Susanna, I think if I said that right, says, I am American and love the monarchy. England is my mother country and feel I am a loyal subject. Do not worry. Doesn't matter if you are not British. The Queen loves all of you, I'm sure. And she's shown that she, loves people from all over the Commonwealth. And I think beyond as well. I think her love for people and the planet goes beyond even the Commonwealth to everybody. So I'm sure she would appreciate you being a loyal subject, even if you're American. Oh dear says, if Harry and Meghan live at Frogmore, Edward and Wallis will be spinning in their graves. I just think they'll be happy an American got there. The fifth Mrs. R says, if Charlotte wanted to go into the military, would she be allowed to as a female royal? Yes, I see no reason why she wouldn't be allowed to. Vinnie Blair says, Frogmore, from your mouth to God's ears, we will see, but I think it's a very good residence that is currently available. They're having the wedding reception there. They visited it. I think it's on the cards, but we will see. I could be wrong. And don't worry, Joe Bob, if you're late, yes, it is morning where you are in Shanghai. Rita says Frogmore is being renovated currently, as well as a larger apartment in Kensington Palace, hopefully for Prince Harry and Meghan. Well, the Kensington Palace thing, they will reside initially in Nottingham Cottage, which is a kind of bijou cottage just opposite Diana's old apartments. And Diana occupied apartments 8 and 9, which were joined together as one apartment. Following her death, I think they were separated again and used currently as offices of Prince Harry and Prince William and Catherine. But they're planning an extension under the Orangery. If that goes ahead, the offices relocate to the new offices under the Orangery, and that would free up Diana's old apartments for Harry and Meghan. And that's what I think is likely to happen. Marilyn says, I'm coming to London in September for 3 days to see Hamilton, and we'll take the train to Windsor to get a tour of the castle. I've heard it's amazing, so please do go. I want to go too. Nina's off. Good night to you. Smiling Zombie says, long live the Queen. And no, I don't think they'll be residing in Fort Belvedere. Elaine says, I think Frogmore is ideal, and I'm sure you will be right. Vanel says, take a wee sip of tea. I do. It's the hay fever. I haven't actually got a cold. I've still got a bit of a tickle from my previous cough, but everyone that's had the cough that I had, it's been going on for months. It's a real lingering tickle. But I've got a little bit of hay fever at the moment. Okay, I think I've finally made it down to the end of the chat. It got very busy there for a moment. Let me make sure that I haven't missed anything that I wanted to speak about. I really liked Prince Harry's speech. I mentioned it before, his speech to the Commonwealth Youth Forum. When he mentioned Meghan Markle, the crowds roared with applause. And I think that took Harry aback slightly. So if you haven't seen that video, do go and check out that moment, because I think it was quite a special moment. And I really enjoyed it, that the crowd, cheered Meghan. And, I get lots of questions asking me about what Britain thinks about Meghan. And, I always say, I don't really see I don't really see any of the hate that's supposed to be there. All I see is when, you know, on the telly and on the royal engagements, I see cheers, I see smiley faces. I see the newspapers writing good things about Meghan. Yes, they report on her family, what's supposed to be going on with her family, but in terms of Meghan directly, I only see support for her. So yes, check out that video. I think it was pretty good, and I enjoyed the spontaneous applause. Okay, I have mentioned everything that I wanted to mention. I believe Lady Pamela Hicks is okay. I haven't heard anything since we heard news of her pneumonia. Smiling Zombie says, I have the same type of cough. It goes on forever. It was a really chesty cough to begin with. In fact, I've never had such a chesty cough low down. And then it kind of moves up into a tickle. And it just takes months to go. It's a dreadful one. And yes, it has been a cold, rough winter in the UK. But I'm really glad we've had a few days of sun, which has been lovely. And yes, Harry's reaction to the cheers was priceless. Richard Wilson says, long live the Queen. I'm Richard from Jamaica. And you are a royal watcher, but you love watching and following on the royal family. Don't we all? And it's always nice weather. Is it always nice weather in Jamaica? My mum and dad often go to the Caribbean. They go to Barbados. And the weather's nice there when they go. But I'm imagining the weather's probably nice where you are pretty much all of the time. Candice says, yes, I've also had that cough and I've truly had enough. It tickles. It's awful. Odia says, Harry and Meghan are hardly ever mentioned here in Canada. Wedding news will be shown and mentioned on the day. Kimberly says, congratulations again on 30,000 subs. And thank you for this week. You are welcome. It was hard. It was hard work, but I got there. And Sharon says, thanks for all your hard work. It was indeed hard work. Speaking of Canada and Meghan, that reminded me, the snowflake brooch. Lots of people were thinking, and I read some comments in the videos, that we may have seen the snowflake brooch when the Queen met Justin Trudeau, and we didn't see it. And that strengthened, I think, my prediction, because I made a prediction probably a month ago, maybe more, that I thought that the Queen was holding back on the snowflake brooch because she has had some opportunities to wear it that would have been suitable. And Justin Trudeau at the palace would have been an ideal opportunity to wear the snowflake brooch, but she didn't. And going back to my prediction a couple of months ago, I said that I thought she was reserving it for something. And I think what she's reserving it for is when Harry and Meghan eventually get round to touring Canada, which they will do, because obviously once Meghan marries into the family, they will do, you know, tours of the Commonwealth. So eventually, when they do go to Canada, and they are likely to be the next royals to visit Canada, you know, Charles and Camilla have been, Catherine and William have been. So I think Harry and Meghan are the next ones to go. I think Meghan will debut the snowflake brooch when she visits Canada. What do you think? It's my prediction. The Queen seems to have been holding back on it. She has loaned the Canadian maple leaf brooch to Catherine, and I think Camilla as well when she's gone to Canada. So I think she's holding back on it, and I think it's for Meghan, because like I say, there's been certain occasions when she could have worn it and hasn't. What do you think? Elaine says, I've been to Barbados, beautiful island, very happy and friendly people. Odia says, the snowflake brooch is lost in the bottom of the drawer in the bureau. Holly Anderson says, have a good day tomorrow. Enjoy that sunny weather. I will try. And yes, Susan, I've heard that there was a documentary on Meghan and Harry. I'm trying to work out if it's the same documentary that I saw, but maybe it's been renamed for America, I'm thinking. But if it's the one that I saw, it was indeed lovely, and I enjoyed it too. Jamie thinks she'll wear the snowflake brooch at the wedding. I'm not sure. Joan says, thoroughly enjoyed your chat tonight. We're tuning in again soon. Good evening. I am going soon too, so do not worry. I won't stay on too long, taking up too much of your evening, everyone. Odia says, Canadians don't want Meghan to debut the brooch. They want the Queen to wear it. Everyone will be disappointed if that's the case. I want to see the Queen wear it too, but I think, like I say, I think there is probably a reason for her holding back, and I suspect what I've said is the reason. Resilient Gal says, I didn't go to see the Tower of London, but when I was at Buckingham Palace, I was escorted by an armed guard because of your disability. You felt cool for a minute, and I got to ride in a buggy. Wow, that sounds terribly exciting. The Jewel House is the pinnacle of the Tower, and to see the crown jewels was truly amazing. I can hear Kat. I can see Molly. She's over there. She was by Harry and Meghan. Rory is terrified of Harry and Meghan. He thinks they're real people. Jamie says Pippa Middleton is pregnant. Is that true? And lots of people saying that the Queen should wear the snowflake brooch first. Diana says, I love your broadcast because I don't know